Hello, everyone, and here we go. And what an amazing day this has been. And the energy has been very good here where we're at today. And I believe overall the energy has been quite heightened for so many. However, having said that, um, what what this video is about is to assist any that may be experiencing any discomforts with energy or even any heightened experiences. So it's not limited, it's fully open. Hi, Jackie and Scott. Jackie Jordan. Great. We got to do another show sometime if you wish. So this is to assist any energetic questions whatsoever. Just bring them up. I don't have any scripted questions. I always just work unscripted and divinely flow. So, any questions, put them in the chat and I will answer them. Thank you. And much love and light to you all on this beautiful day. And hello, everyone, of course. Loud and clear. Excellent. If it gets glitchy, someone just let me know. But I believe we have a pretty good signal here now, and it will continue through. And also, all of you with your energetic signatures uh, assist to keep a strong energetic connection. And yes, you can do this just with your intent from your consciousness for your heart. You only really need to just think of it now as I'm saying, and so it is. It's done. You don't need to be repetitive in this. And you just do it once. You trust yourself fully not to do it again, because if you go and do it again, then what you are actually doing is you're questioning the first time you did it, the first intent. And then what happens is that when you question it, that is doubt and it's not full trust. Then it diminishes your manifestation in anything you do. So, anytime, just keep it simple, concise, precise to the point, and just do it once, and it goes out in the universe and it does its work. However, if you question it and do it again, you'll confuse it, you'll distort it, and you'll diminish your intent that you put out there. So important to understand that. Just do it once. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you just say, oh, well, divinely it was not approved, it was not allowed at this time. But know that your manifestations and your creations always work. Just because it may seem that they don't manifest, it does not mean that you don't have the power to do it and that you do it. It's just that we're all governed in this space by a higher divine plan. So, again, to keep it simple, all of you can walk on water. All of us can do that. Yes, it's just that it's divinely governed not to do that. You know how chaotic that would make everything if we had everyone walking on water now. It would be glorious and it would be great. However, this overall ascension is transitional and it is governed to certain extents. But the miracles and your gifts, as we keep going higher, you know, you're seeing that you're given your gifts, you're witnessing more of the miracles, you're confirming abilities of yourself, of others, and you're seeing many miracles occur. So it's beautiful. Okay, I'll stop rambling. Let's see if we got any questions here. And Della from Split, love and light, love and light. Hey, Marshall and Maria. Ah, my beautiful cousin. I love both of you so much. Good to see you on there. Thank you. Love and light. Okay. Marie Ketterman. She asked, hi, Rick. Does the universe have anything to tell me that I'm not aware of. Let's say the universe is within yourself as well, within your heart, within the seat of your soul is the all knowing. We exist for all time, and it's contained within the seat of your soul, everything that you need to know. And what occurs, it's released incrementally as we go forward with this unprecedented ascension. Now, I say unprecedented time because it's being revealed to the light communities that are upon the planet and most of humanity more of the divine truths. And as a result of that, as the veil lifts, you're given back more of your divine knowledge from all times. So you ask the question, does the universe have anything to tell me that I'm not aware of? What I say to that is just be open, and it's introduced to you, released to you um, on an incremental basis. So it's like if you need to know something divinely to position you in your future time, then you will get that message. But don't expect messages and don't anticipate that you'll get a message for every move that you are to make. So it's best to keep it simple, keep open to the flow, and if you need a message, it comes to you. Very rarely do you need to search for the answer or for any message. So it's best for you, Marie, to be the open conduit, and everyone watching, be your own open conduit for the messages you receive and trust them. Trust them fully. Don't have any doubt at this time. It's no matter, it does not even matter, let's say, if you were getting an MK Ultra projection toward your brain, a thought that wasn't yours, a thought to tell you to do something. But the point of what I'm trying to make, you know in your heart with your discernment at what to follow. So you follow that. And of course, you know, I got to back up here a bit. You know what thoughts are yours and what isn't as well. And you discern from the heart with that. So great. I think I know I had something else to say, but it'll come up later if it needs to in regards with this. Thank you, Maria. Excellent question. Linda Wagner, you say some strong egos and some division happening in our freedom walks in Calgary. Well, during this great purification time, the ones that are parts of it, you know, they have good notions, good intents, but they can only go so far. And if they have strong egos or negative values or emotions or things they have not worked on, they must go back. They cannot go so far ahead. And they must master these because these cause separations. It'll cause separation in the near term until they overcome and know that they must all come together as one. And they know that separation is, it disempowers one. It's so important to have the all conclusive unity, is what I need to say. So thank. Hi, Gordana. I'll scroll down a little bit further. But Linda, everything is progressing beautifully forward. We need everyone strong. And if they got issues like ego or who's right, who's wrong, or separation, then they're put back to deal with that. And it makes it stronger on the other side of it, as you know. And this is how it works. Thank you. Michelle Langerquist says, any update on the divine masculine's awakening? Yes, Michelle, mine and Femke's own experiences, we are seeing more and more. And let me tell you again, when we become introduced to these awakened divine masculine, they are very powerful, and it's amazing the work they have done. and how powerful their energetic fields are. It's just totally impressive. And you know, with some of these divine masculine, as I said before, it's like they were just hid in the closet and they come out almost complete. It's just beautiful and fascinating, and it's so impressive. But we knew this would occur, and it is occurring. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna fix up my band headband here so it don't distract you. So I try to look as good as I can. Joking. But yeah, so divine masculine quickly awakening, and let me say they are so powerful, Michelle, when they enter the scene with any energetic things we're doing, any divine tasking, and wow, it just totally impressive. So they are awakening more and more. And you know, the overall awakening as well, as I mentioned in the last live I did, you know, at this time, we have awakened to globally to very impressive degrees. Over, I'm guessing about 25% of the population is awakened to the degrees to take their power back and have a general understanding of what's occurring. And now the rest of the population, what Father gave me a couple weeks ago, is that at least 70% of the population of the planet is awakened to some degree that, you know the government's wrong, and what is going on with the governments, all of this, and how it's all wrong, and how also the societies and how it was, how everything is wrong. So, you know, this is substantial, and I'm seeing the confirmations. I know you are, and I know many are, and you know, I'm constantly also watching things, and I observe what others contribute and say as well, and I'm seeing this more prevalent throughout, where once are mentioning about divine masculine stepping into the scene. So it's beautiful. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at this. Adisa Salahovic. She says, Rick, can you explain me this, please? Last night, when I went to bed, I closed my eyes and suddenly I saw a crystal light in the shape of a pine tree. I felt as if something was hitting me from that crystal pine. I was twitching my head and my heart started beating fast. It feels like when someone scares you and you twitch. Yeah, so what's occurring at this time, and this is actually a very beautiful experience. What needs to be understood that there is generally one thing that is occurring. There, of course, are many, but when we look at the opening of the third eye, which is occurring within many, now it is not how it occurs and what you experience. It's not all the same for everyone. We have an individual basis of how it occurs, but also how the messages are translated to you. And they will come metaphorically, or sometimes they may be perfectly clear, or they'll come in the messages and dreams, you know, and then you need to know how to interpret dreams. Like my cousin Marshall, that may be still watching here, that's what one thing he does is interpret dreams for ones as well. So, you know, it's the deciphering and translation of the message. So, getting to what you asked, though, um, you saw a crystal light in the shape of a pine tree. Well, you know, we know the importance of the pine tree. It has many values. Its aromatic values, the chemical reactions that it sets off within the physical vessel, which is connected to the immunity of the biological vessel, and of course, the pacifying and the comfort that by smelling the pine trees that you get as well from it. So it puts you in a relaxed state. So, and then once you're in, metaphorically, once you're in a relaxed state, also from the pine tree or just in a relaxed state, it is the absence of fear and all of the lower densities. So when you have come this far out of the absence of fear, that you are actually able to be so peaceful, then the pine cone, the pineal gland, that is when that begins to open as well, because you have to come to such a point. So the crystal light, is the opening, what I'm seeing, of your third eye here, which is your pineal gland, or it's all interconnected. There are variances of how they describe it, but it's really all in one, because it's all connected. So with this is what's occurring. Your third eye is opening, and let's say in the last couple weeks, uh, since the huge photonic influx of light that was coming in, that I've spoken about in the last few weeks and before, the heads up that it was coming and what was going to occur, because of all the activations. So the activations is in the crown area, further enhancement of that, and also in the third eye, and the consciousness of the right hemisphere of the brain, the neurogenesis, what's occurring, your bodies are evolving within. And so with this, you mentioned some twitching in your heart beating fast. Well, for example, you are receiving upgrades, you are activating within you crystalline components that's there within your organic body. And also to do this and to assist you, it would make perfect sense that your heart would speed up the action to pump the blood quicker to the areas. And this is also goes hand in hand with what I spoke about before, perhaps not in the lives, but I wrote about it. High blood pressure is normal for those awakening, and the cold sensations through the body, due to a more crystalline component within the plasma of the blood, which you're bringing in the higher frequencies. And again, light is cold in actuality. So you're bringing in, you could say, a higher dimensional energy, which is actually cold, into a lower density carbon based body that you had. So you feel that difference until you acclimatize to it, and then you feel it differently. So yeah, this is beautiful, and you're twitching, yeah, when one's vibrating from it, it's very beautiful. These are the activations going on, like if you're cooking some popcorn, once it gets hot enough to be activated, poo, 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 there's all kinds of movement going on. So it's perfect. And thank you for that confirmation, and it's good to see another one. Okay, I'm getting hot. We're on a roll. I got to take off my shirt. Woo! There we go. Getting warm in here, fam. Okay, try to get this fixed back up so I'm not so distracting. But you shouldn't be looking at my face anyway. You should be listening to my words and maybe look at my eyes. But joking. Okay, I gotta get serious here again and look at the questions. Okay. Derek Bain, is there anything we can be doing on a personal level to assist in this ascension? Okay, Derek, we are all working as a team, and what everyone does on a personal level does assist and contribute to the overall ascension. So, on a personal and individual level, to be the most assisting is to just trust everything that you feel to do, trust that guidance and do it. And also, when you're more connected to receiving, let's say, messages from your divine team, trust that, don't question it, and just do it and just act. You most of you have seen enough now to know that it's a movie, but it's important to act on your prompts, what you receive from your divine messages and from your heart. Do not be thinking of this reality from the old human logic ways with any fear into them. Because the moment you do that, if you start thinking human logic and with fear, then you begin questioning yourself and you lower your vibration, you lower your power. You just got to trust and do the opposite and just trust everything and go forward with it. And this assists everyone, and work together, keep connected. It's so important, and I stress this always: the unity. Even if it's just a message to someone, maybe every couple weeks, someone that's higher consciousness, just keep connected. In whatever way that you feel to. If you think about someone, just don't say, oh, maybe I'll send them a message. If you think about them, don't question it. Just put your phone out, send them a heart. At least you got that energetic connection, and it does do something. So don't question yourself. Act on divine impulse is what I suggest, and everyone do, as they're doing. And to assist with the overall ascension, uh, there's so many things to do, and each one must follow their own guidance onto um, what ways they will assist, with this ascension. If it just means holding space, an energetic space, just being in your love space, that's an important part, as well as the light warriors right out there on the front lines. We're all a huge team. We are interconnected, and each one has their divine roles to play and their divine tasks. And just trust is the thing, and that gets us through it all the quickest. So thank you, Derek. Uh, okay. Okay, Anita says, hi Rick, the energies have been so intense, I feel overwhelmed emotionally and physically. She has more, but I'll stop there. Now, yes, emotionally, what is happening is that the emotions, because of the energy is and the vibration is so high now that your emotions will be enhanced and increased as well. For example, within this body, the last week or two, I had my heart chakra activated back up higher again now for what we are doing. Every time that I express my love more openly, tears will come in my eyes, as an example, because it's more intense, the energy now, and it's creating these like things. So tears will come in because it's a huge expression of joy, and it's an attribute of that joy. And so we are activating these to the higher at this time as well. And it's why it's so important um, for what you've been given. See, also with your energy, for example, when I go into the love and I got some tears coming in my eye because of the genuine love I'm expressing, that's a huge energy that is going out in reality, and it's making a difference. And with all of you, it's why in the early stages you're taught get rid of the negativity, get rid of the fears, because we are the ones to make that huge positive impact on reality to uplift humanity. And physically, uh, the intense energies, feeling them physically? Yes, yes, indeed, as well. And that's been a mixed bag all over the board. Some vibrating, levitating almost, and others feeling the density. It's on an individual basis with so much that was occurring. However, everyone is informed and aware of the Ascension upgrades, Ascension symptoms from those upgrades and activations. So, at least as long as you're aware, then you're not bewildered, wondering what's going on, and resort to lower dimensional thinking like you have a medical problem or whatever. So, it's important to be aware and share that, to your friends and family, even though they don't believe it. They say, "Oh, I'm feeling ill." Or you can just say, "Well, there's a lot of energy coming in today. It's a density, perhaps to wake up those that's asleep, so they're being squashed and pressured, so they wake up." So your choice. Um, so then Anita says, however, after that phase, my aura has been feeling expansive, like around 100 feet around me. Is that normal? Well, let me say, it's normal now to be experiencing that, but let me say it's gone beyond what was common before. So this is very beautiful. And Anita is in India. Oh, you're up in the Himalayas. Anita, I would like for you, Anita Mulchandani, I would like for you to contact me because I think you're up northern part of India on the hills of Nepal. I would like to speak with you. Um, so this is great. So Anita says, however, again, after the phase, my aura has been feeling expansive, like 100 feet around me. Is that normal? Um, So Anita, it's also it's becoming, because I remember you now and I see where you're at. It's important that we speak because you're also being, let's say, energized and activated beyond proportions at this time. You're being prepared for the significant event on December 21st. So this is beautiful. You'll be upgraded. You'll be energized, and yes. Very powerfully at this time because you're being divinely prepared. So I would like to speak with you later, just through some messaging. So this is beautiful. So it's normal to expand. Each one's your fields, but if you compare it to the past, for most, it's not normal, but it is normal now because of the ascension, and each one is empowering. Generally or normally, each one's aura and energetic field is affecting um, just while in neutral mode, it's affecting perhaps 8 feet out around you. Now, if you're going into enhanced mode, intentionally doing divine work in an area, well, you expand it outwards and dependent upon the divine one. You, you you affect you affect your general immediate space, but it ripples all around Gaia because we're all connected. So that is beautiful. I love that. I'm feeling good from that. Thank you, Anita. So keep doing it, and yeah, others. I know others would be reporting this now as well. Some others will be. So that's very beautiful and good to hear. And we're always upgrading and being enhanced with this ascension up until a certain point, it does end. But this is the fun, and witnessing and confirming this along the way is also part of the joys and the fun. And these sort of things are also there to help you to erase the lower dimensional doubts and fears so that we keep rising up further at this time. So, one thing sometimes will do many good things for you. And as we know, one thing affects all of creation. And when you're given your higher creational powers, you need to be very conscientious and meticulous with your actions, your reactions, your state of being, your energetic fields, and each one of you are responsible for that. And everyone, even if someone still has a little bit of ego thing or a little bit of anger, it's perfectly normal for them to have it, but keep it in check. And when when it comes to the point to take the complete mastery over it, you have all the tools within you to do that when that time comes. And as I mentioned in regards, we are empathic divinely for the sense, because we need to allow the negative energies also to flow through these organic vessels. So it acts as a grounding agent as well, because as you know, if you do not feel any negativity or any fear, you just vibrate right out of here. So it acts as a grounding mechanism too, to keep us here. But the more we transmute by knowing what it is and knowing we have the abilities to transmute this negative energy, then we uplift all humanity. And thus, this is the divine mission and what's going on. Wow, stop rambling. Look for another question. Jane Mai, do you have a view on the vaccine? Yeah, I got a view. Don't take it. And I suggest for no one to take any of the vaccines. For what the light community is, I really did not see anyone sick in the light community. There were some symptoms like cold like symptoms, but we're going through so many ascension upgrades that these are actually ascension symptoms, and also creating a stronger immunity for these physical vessels as we continue to ascend. But I strongly suggest no vaccines for anyone. But each must do what they feel to do. But I suggest no. But if one, um, if they feel it will make them better, that's their choice. It's not up for us to decide on an individual basis what one should do. However, we must express our truth openly that we don't suggest to have vaccines, don't have anything to do with them. That's what we suggest. We're living on that level of truth. But we may suggest that, but we don't determine the choice of another. We just give them the information. Then divinely, the choice will be their own. And we do know there were sinister um, agendas attached to the vaccines, but with that, we need to leave that more so on an individual basis with the choice that they make. However, it is like for my part of my divine work is to put the information out there about the reasons why not, and that's what I do. And it's important for each one to do that if you feel to put the truth out, so that it's not a one-sided story and propaganda from the media, and put the truth out about the vaccines. That is required. It's needed there to assist humanity. And I don't. I could, let's say, I could do a whole show on the vaccines, Jane, and I don't wish to go right there with this show right now. But a beautiful question, and thank you. Marinella says, I keep having this voice in my mind telling me to ask you if you have a message for me. Well, Marinella, my message is what we wish for everyone to do is open up yourself to your own messages. This is what I'm about in my teaching. It's about empowering and opening the other up. It's not for ones to have a codependency or a reliance upon me or any other. It's about opening you up to your own divinity, which is yourself, and that connection to Prime Creator. then you get your own messages and trust that in your own guidance. So that is the message, to trust yourself. Do not look outward for direction. Look within your heart and within the connection that you have to Creator and your divine team. That is where your messages are. They will and may come through others at times, just like this message I'm giving you now is coming through I. But don't be dependent upon this, and it's best to always just remain neutral and open to receive. And if this message is for you, it will resonate, it will feel right. Then you can accept the value from that message, however far it needs to take you. It might just take you across the street, or this might take you completely home. But you don't put any restrictions on how long it will stay with you. It's best to know you are humanoid. Everyone is humanoid and divine, but the whole truth is not known yet. Meaning that if the whole truth was knowing, many of us would not even be here. Um, so it's a transitional thing going forward, but it's important not to draw conclusions on one truth and allow it to evolve, because you will see this as you go higher. So thank you for that. Hey, Sean Jewell. She says, hello, Rick. And thank you for Luxor, Egypt, Sean and Mick. Mick's got a book out, and I put shared a post about his book. It didn't get many reactions on it for some reason, with to do with Facebook, perhaps, but Fem and I stayed there at Sean and Mick offered third place in Luxor for a few months while Fem and I were divinely trapped in Egypt, not allowed to leave. We had to keep the throat chakra energized and open there, and more so hold down the fort energetically. So Sean and Mick most generously offered the accommodation for us there. So we're so grateful for that. So thank you. Okay. Sanya says, why we need to live in love. Please describe love in 3D, 5D, 7D, where we are now. Well, let's look at, there is a difference from what you would call 3D love to 5D love. And 5D love is more embodying it and feeling it, knowing what it is, having more interaction within the energy, the actual energy of love itself, in comparison to 3D love. It's more of just the beginnings in the first introduction to what love was, and not really fully knowing it in reality. And when you look at 7D love, you could use it as a gauge that you are at the wise love, the unconditional love, fully there but empowered. So there is a huge difference with it. When you empower and energize your pure love, and when I say pure love, what I'm speaking about is the purity of the energetics within your heart, of not being influenced by outside negativity or fear, and acting and reacting in old fear ways, like with aggression, frustration, or even being afraid. So it's an advancement of the love, but also the advancement of the love is what changes reality, and is also the ascension. So, and where we are now, what I would say, there is no more 3D for the context, any context that I actually use. We're in a fourth dimensional space. We have been since 2012, and most of us are um, fluctuating on a duality or a triality. And when I say a duality, you're fluctuating between a fourth dimensional state in existence and a fifth dimensional state in existence, where that existence is different dependent upon your vibration and the density that is felt. So a 5D is when state of being is when there is no density felt within you, just as an example. And 4D is when you're feeling pretty dense, so you're fluctuating up and down. And with the triality, uh, and many more are, so you're experiencing those two variations, 4D, 5D, and higher, which then I call the triality, is your higher self, your most higher, purest state of love that is even above the 5D state. So the 5D state is, we could perhaps, I'd like to say, is the next level of love that we're introducing humanity to as a whole. But to do that, again, it's transitional. We uh, need to eliminate the fears to such a degree that they stand, but it gets kind of complicated, and without, I don't really wish to get into this right further at this time, and actually I'm told not to. Um, but anyways, yeah, there is different of love. There's unconditional love. There's love, wise love. So I use different levels of it when I'm, as you can see, when I'm explaining things, or when I'm, as an individual, analyzing a certain energetic experience or event as well that has love in it. So I'll tend to categorize a bit the love. But again, now if someone else just says love is just love, that is perfect for them as well. And they're perceiving love the way they should too. So in reality, there is no right or wrong what everyone is thinking, what everyone is doing, but what's actually is happening. We're converging all of the different perspectives and perceptions to put them all into the one highest state of being. So there's a convergence, and this is why uh, the unity is so important to come together, because if you have ones get separated off, then they're left on a pit stop for a bit, and so it's good to have everyone kept together, and then everyone's advancing at least at a reachable level below between the 4D and the 5D, and we keep everyone here, and we keep everyone moving up together. Excuse me. Okay, so Yelena says she saw a huge angel Samuel in her meditation a few days ago. Never heard of him or her before. He had huge wings, blonde hair. Any advice? Let me say I have heard of Samuel before, but right now, just drawing off of this consciousness, I don't really have much information to give you on that, Yelena. And what I suggest is to just do some of your research and look up, and what resonates will give you more information on perhaps the intents and purposes of knowing that angelic energy and presence is available to assist you in this time. And this will give you more uh, pieces of the puzzle why you are introduced to this energetic, angelic aspect of Samuel. So the advice is, yeah, just to look it up and get your own information, but also keep open to what it may be about and why. I don't wish to draw any conclusions on this, and I don't speculate. If I don't know readily, don't have it, I don't say it. So with this, look it up and trust what you're getting and follow that along. Thank you. Claire Louise. Lots of cobalt blue orbs around her lately. She says she was speaking to a taxi driver who started an amazing conversation about what is happening on Earth and what people must do by staying in no fear. And she says, huge flash beside me, blue. I take always as confirmation all is well and made me smile hugely. Yeah, yeah, and you, thank you, Claire. And also the cobalt blue and the silver blue is attached, to Archangel Michael for most of us, and this is how we recognize that energy in our presence, and yeah, very beautiful. And just to share, yeah, I believe it was last night, out on the grass here, a little blue and silver orb uh, appeared as well. It wasn't very big, but I could see it in the night, uh, how it lit up, and it was not a raindrop. It was too big for it. It was an actual little blue silver orb. So yeah, yeah. So thank you for that. And I was thinking too, as we heighten, like Femke and I, we see orbs and beautiful gold specks and things, all the time. And it is, when you look at this, it is such a magical, beautiful time, and we're really just beginning into the lower levels of the magic and the experiences. So it keeps getting better all the time. So beautiful. Thank you. Okay, just looking for some more questions here. Thank you, Anita. Yeah, connect with me on Messenger. Yeah, in the Himalayas. That's good. Uh, okay, Kirsten Schultz says, hi, one question. How can I help my vessel to better regenerate to be healthy again? Well, of course, it's with the diet. To keep it simple, with the diet, refrain from um, chemical foods, lots of good, healthy water that doesn't have chlorine or fluoride or anything in. The best is the natural spring water. So keep the best type of water in your body. Um, your diets, watch your diet with your food. Try to eat the more best food, non-GMO food. Um, Lots of breathing is important now. You're actually going to breathe in higher energy from the air than what you're going to get in most of your foods, especially if they're GMO. You're better off just breathing than eating a whole plate of GMO peppers for whatever the energy you don't get out of it is the energy you get out of GMO stuff is very little, and you'll find yourself needing to eat more and more of it. Then that leads to obesity and accumulation of chemicals in your bodies because if they're growing GMO food, then that also means that the intent and the consciousness of the farmer or the ones that's growing the GMO food that because they think it's okay to grow GMO, then they're going to be using pesticides also and the waxes on it and the chemicals and herbicides. So you can see how one thing leads to another. So keep the best organic vegetables. For many, they're transitioning out of meat and poultry, bird products. So That assists depending on what level your physical vessel is at with the changeover. Some will become violently sick that they cannot eat meat or bird when the time is right. If it doesn't naturally occur for them, it will be divinely assured they'll become intensely sick that they cannot even put it in their bodies. So alcohol, strongly suggest refrain from that, and for some of you, citric acids and acetic acids to refrain from that. But again, it's on an individual basis. So I put out suggestions because I know where we're going to, but it depends on what level each one is at, to what you must omit from your diets or even include in your diet. Also, with the consciousness, you keep saying you're always healthy, and you add that added element to your body. And also, keeping your highest happiness, your highest vibration, and your highest expression of love, and that also then is translated into your physical vessel, and it makes it more healthier. And your pH level of your body, um, for some of you perhaps beginning, it's important to eliminate certain acids, but to keep the pH level of your body above 7, above neutral. So, some you may be able to get pH strips in drugstore or what have you just to test. If you're curious, test your pH. And if it's below 7, I strongly suggest for all of you to get to an alkaline diet and begin to get alkaline water into your body, distilled water for about 2 weeks with detox to get it back up to an alkaline proportion, and then refrain from any acids that are uh, like bicarbonates, um, acids in like sodas and these sort of things. Get rid of that. Don't touch it. And whatever you will, once you remain open to transitioning your diet in your vessel, then the answers will come to you as well, and it'll be easier for you to discern what you need and what you don't, and listen to your body. Your body is a great indicator. With this, Kirsten, there are times I'll have a Mars bar, and that's like chocolate, and it's really toxic. But when this body needs it for grounding, I go and I have one. Femke and I keep an amazing clean diet. However, there are times I will have a chocolate bar or something that would negate the full clean diet because the vessel requires it for some reason. And I don't question my vessel when it says I want a bar, I go and have it because I know there's a deeper divine reason for it. And I'm very prudent and responsible with the foods I put in my body. For example, just before we began the show, uh, I wanted to just have something in my mouth before I began. So we had some peanut butter here, and before I went and just did it, I asked Father, should I have, is it okay if I have a spoon of peanut butter? This is the way I operate. Sometimes if I shouldn't, I ask. And with this, it was okay. But I felt compelled to have something. And yeah, I did have a spoon of natural peanut butter, which is amazing. Onto the peanut butter, I despised all of the other peanut butters that were made before. I never liked it. And, when I was not awake, I lived many years not liking peanut butter because the only thing I was ever introduced to was the processed stuff. And I despised and back then hated it. I did not even want it. And it was so funny when I was introduced finally to a natural peanut butter. I remember my first taste. I said, okay, I'll give it a try because I was awakened then and open. and my first spoonful of it, just amazing and just a total complete difference. And now, yeah, I love natural peanut butter, but it's got to be natural and natural and even no salt in it, just peanuts. So, anyways, I was rambling, but I had to share because your diets can transition as well. Oh, I love that song, Linda. They're in the streets around Calgary singing "We Are the World" and "Heal the World." Exactly, that's what's going on. Woo! Good stuff. Loved you, Sean. No, Tina asked, will anyone be able to force the vaccine on us? And the answer is no. And, on my timeline, I've been putting out information and links to the World Doctor Alliance, the UK Doctor Alliance, but also the World Freedom Alliance, which is the people that has all of the legal papers and documents that if you feel you need written things to protect yourself. So these are from the People's Court that is emerging, and I wish to say, they have support of at this time over 1 billion people because this is the people, the big group that is forming very rapidly. It has over 650 expert and professional doctors and uh, mostly doctors, scientists, biologists, virologists, lawyers, and bankers because they're being set up for the new world, what we are creating. And these are all ones that do not fully support vaccines and know about the COVID measures and know the truth. So that is growing, and no one can force this on you. It's a total violation of God-given rights, and no one can inflict harm. So if you say no vaccine for me, they cannot force it upon you. For the moment that they would try to do that, it becomes a serious violation, not only within laws that, their laws are obsolete, but it becomes a violation, uh, simply just a full violation. So no one can enforce that upon anyone. If it is, it's crimes instantly against humanity, and anyone doing that, I don't even see it coming to that because it's that absurd at this time. Okay, Gypsy Jade says, I know my frequency is under attack. No, Gypsy, we are at the time that it's important for ones, do not, as you're awakening further, do not misinterpret uh, activations going on with the body as attacks. We are mostly beyond that. However, some may still have fabricated divine attacks with certain uh, experiences to assist them to overcome the fear. So some of that is out there, but it's still very limited. She says her muscles are contracting, pinched nerves, and these are, with what you need to look at is these physical vessels are receiving just such immense upgrades dependent upon the individual that every part of the organic physical vessel is connected, is affected. And also with the neurological system, that is under a major overhaul. It's a neurogenesis. It's being new neural pathways are being rerouted. The new nerve endings are being upgraded to crystalline to be able to walk into the other dimensions to directly and intentionally at will walk through portals and all of these. So there are so many intense things going on, and especially with the nervous system. And the muscles will contract, yes, because you have all of the nerves within the muscles as well. Everything is changing your capillaries in your blood, your arteries, your veins, the blood or the heart even itself is changing, and of course the blood with the DNA upgrades. But the DNA upgrades are happening so rapidly as well as it's happening in the entire body. When you look at the old humanoid cells, typically every 7 years, every human cell in your body was replaced with a new one. During this ascension, that has sped up. That for most, it's every 3 years, and less now that your every cell in your body is being replaced by a new one because the DNA activations it's speeding up as we go quicker forward. So it's expediting the processes also within the physical vessel. So everything is affected, and during um, the increased rate of regeneration of the cells in the human body, it's so much more important not to be introducing chemicals in there, because with the regeneration process of every cell in your body, if you have cells that have chemicals in there, they are only able to produce new cells during the mitosis to the equivalent to them cells. But if them cells are already sick or overladen with chemicals, they cannot produce a good cell. They only can produce a cell that is equivalent to the health of them. This is why many of you undergo the extreme detoxing and getting your physical vessels purified and getting the chemicals out of there, and of course the external applications of chemicals like in makeups and deodorants and all of this. It's why you've been taught also to not be clogging your pores of your skin, which are so important at this time. You have billions of pores, and all of these pores bring in energy daily. And if you keep putting on lotions and keep it covered up, well, you're not bringing in as much energy, and plus, chemicals do go into the pores in your skin. If you're constantly showering or bathing in city water, chlorinated water, and if you don't have the filters on your taps, well, constantly chlorine is going into your skin. It goes into the pores and it stays there. Yeah, washing powder, as Femke's saying, it's so important as well. Sure, you have natural washing powder when you're washing your clothes, and these heavy fragrances are toxic and they have chemicals. So I could go on for a long time, but getting back to what you said, um, so what I say, Gypsy, is you're undergoing very massive, quick upgrades, and don't resort to fear. Understand that you're being affected by something that is good. Energetic attacks and all of that stuff is out of the question for many. So understand that it's a good thing happening. It's a process. Keep with it, and by not having fear, you speed that process up. Thank you. Heather Nielsen says her skin has aged so much over the last year, but her face has not aged. Is this noted in others? I have not noted it yet, Heather, but also, without getting deeply into this, with what you're saying, keep in expressing your love, but you may at this time, or your ability to keep your face youthful, I suggest to also give a little bit of love to your body more as well, and put a little bit more conscious intent in there to love your body, and watch how that begins to change. You know, one of the, well, let me just say it's very important to love yourself as you are. And the more love you put out there, the more physical change you will see in your body as well. So that's pretty well all I have for that right now, Heather, because I could get on a huge spiel, which I don't want to, and get way off over there, trying to be the most beneficial at answering the most questions possible to assist ones now energetically. Thank you. I don't know what you're speaking about, Linda, about benevolent healing 17 number injections. Uncertain what that is. Gypsy, again, Jade says a magnet on her foot, and about every 30 seconds to a minute could feel vibrating pulses in my right foot. Yeah, it's great to play around with the electromagnetic energies also, but also within yourself, and you can learn a little bit more. Again, I could go deeper into that, but not right at this time. It may be something in the near future, but what I can say is many are feeling pulses and vibrations in different parts of your body. That is a normality with what's going on with um, neurogenesis, the rerouting of blood vessels, the circulatory system, and also energetic upgrades will cause your vibrating, and lots of other cool stuff. So thank you for that. Now, Carolyn Summer mentions, do the 13 people you mentioned in another video, which are meant to be the leaders of the new world, already know what that they are one of them. I did not, I don't specifically remember mentioning a number of people, but what I can say, if they don't know, I can't say that. They know they are part of it, or they would not be doing it, at least. So, to the degree for me to um, make any great judgment, what I can say is that I know that they are at least leaders in this now, and they may be going forward, but in the least, they are the transitory leaders to align this. Uh, Divine ascension of humanity, at least. I mean, they're in the most important, conspicuous, divine place to be at this time, and the values, what they're putting there, they're informing you of your rights, of your laws, but also of the people's laws, which is above what the governments are. And it's given back the power to the people. They're showing you how to defend yourself against the restrictions. And for any of you that don't know, if you look, they have a banker that is on there. It used to be with Credit Suisse or and another bank. I mean, a banker is there for a very important reason, and part of that reason is to transition the monetary system. So, without getting too deep into who they are, I suggest for all, as I said before, get familiar with what's going on. If it resonates, get your support in there so we transition all of reality here very quickly and give the power back to the people and free the people out of the ridiculous savagery that's been upon the surface for millennia. It's time for humanity to arise above that and take their power back, which is occurring. You say it can take another couple of years for them. No, everything is happening very quickly. Uh, what's occurring if this is the people, that I'm speaking about, the World Freedom Alliance? No, this is a team of advanced consciousness ones, but it's not only them. So it would be a misconception to think it's only 13. It's when we speak about the people, it's all the people inclusive globally that contribute to this, and you just have what you can call the huge people think tank, let's say of 1 billion or more people at this time. So you can see the immense change that creates within consciousness, but also the reality. That's why it's imminent what is occurring. In another couple years, it's happening very quickly, and also it can happen in the blink of an eye. Um, this new world, all it takes is the support of enough of the people. And right now, there's more than enough support without getting too much into detail with that. Again, I'd like to keep more so on the energetic questions to assist ones forward. Thank you. Amy Wade, she says, do we need only 3 days fasting? That is enough for codes download, or the more days, the better. Thanks. Amy, for the fasting, what I strongly suggest, what is sufficient and the most powerful, is a 3 day fast with drinking lots of water, about a gallon a day. Would is what I would say would. But what I'm given to assist with the current energies coming in and ongoing, and to my knowledge, these upgrades and the time to fast, if you haven't, is ongoing for at least the next few weeks. So 3 days, some does it. 5 days, some does it intermittent. It's whatever resonates with you. So, um, and let me say, you asked, do you need only 3 days fasting? That is enough for codes to download. See, you need to understand that you're doing everything perfect by following what you feel. So for you, perhaps it only takes 2 days for the codes to download. And what will occur where you do everything perfect, you'll find that maybe you only needed to fast for 2 days and it was downloaded. There's others, I believe Lydia was on day 5, yesterday, and for her, that's what she was given, that's what she wanted to do, and that's what she was doing to upgrade her vessel. So you say in our the more days, the better. I would have to say yes, they are, as long as you don't put stress on the vessel. If you're beginning to put stress that it's making you edgy or more tired or in a more stressful way, then that is the sign to at least maybe have some vegetable juice or something just to give a little bit outside energy in there. Um, and it's important to do your breathing as well during this fasting. The great breathing in through the nose, holding it here, letting it trickle up into the consciousness, and then exhaling through the mouth, and do 10 to 30 repetitive procedures like that. And that energizes the consciousness and takes away, fogginess that you might have had, and do that outdoors, of course. And then you also have the other beautiful, very powerful breathing exercise of emptying the lungs out completely in preparation, and three intense, or one at a time, take a deep inhale, energize, as I mentioned before, the pores in your body as a magnet at the same time, and then you are energizing the full inner cavity, full torso of the body, plus you're bringing it in through all of the pores of your skin. So you're bringing in a heightened energy that's in the air that was not ever there before. And by doing this, this for a lot of you also can replace very quickly the requirement for food. So actually, with the crystalline body, the requirement for food is no longer needed, where the energy in the air is more compatible with your crystalline form. So there are many of you, water is still essential to keep at least a certain amount of humidity within these organic vessels, but really food is the primitive. Uh, for some of you, that you don't require that primitive way to create energy for the body. You can extract it like right from the air, and being conscious of that. And like with Tesla, the oxygen or the energy is in the air. There's different types there for the physical vessel that's been enhanced. There's an extra hydrogen in places to assist with activations within the vessel as well. The molecules of the air has changed, and at different times, of course, with photonic light influxes, there's different and more energy there to enhance and to activate and to upgrade the physical vessel just by one being in proximity to these different energies. It chemically, if you will, affects these vessels to higher proportions as well. It causes the chemical reactions, but I should say the transitioning to the crystalline is the word chemical. Yeah, perhaps I will not use that and just say the transitioning to the crystalline. It's because of the energy surrounding that word itself, chemical. For me, I hear chemical, yuck. So I won't use that. uh, so Marie Ketterman, she says she doesn't believe you need to fast to get downloads. You just have to be open and relaxed. Allow. Now, for Marie, that is also correct. So, when, as I mentioned before, for some, if it resonated for you to fast, that was the way to receive the upgrades and to expedite your body transformation, transitioning. But for others, it's on an individual basis. For Marie, she says she doesn't believe you need to fast to get the download. So what this means for her is that she doesn't need to do it. So this is her guidance, but it doesn't mean where she says she doesn't believe you need to fast to get downloads. It doesn't mean that she believes that's for all. This is for herself, what she believes, and this is very important also to know that. And she says you just have to be open and relaxed. And again, with the individual bodies, everyone is at there's so many different levels and stages of your upgrades to the physical vessel and going forward. So what fits for one, it doesn't fit for all. You need to. It's more so everything with this ascension is custom to the individual, and that's why when you're out there teaching that you're only suggesting, and it's why what we say what resonates for you, take that, and what doesn't resonate for you, then you don't take it. You use your own discernment process because there is total variation and the individuality is understood by the divine teachers to know this. So we just try to assist, or we don't try, we do assist everyone uh, from from an individual basis when it needs to be, but there are a lot of things that are generic and are common, and when those things occur within the collective, it makes it much easier for the teachers to give the remedy or the information very quickly when that happens on a large scale. But as we're going forward and so many more are awakening, you're getting just so many variations and differences that it's best just to, what I say, put the information out, and then the ones that it's for, they will find it, and they will do what resonates with them. So it's beautiful. Everything is divinely beautiful and constructed. Everyone does what is right for them and what feels right, and you're always doing everything that's perfect. So if you don't believe you need to fast to receive downloads, that's what you must trust, and you must believe in that. That's great. Uh, Ivana, she said a few nights ago she dreamt her soul left the body for a few seconds, and night after in a dream got a message to express to love and friends and family and say goodbye. And she was in a bit of a shock, but believes there is a reason for that. Would you maybe explain that to me? Let's say on the least significant level, Ivana, it's perhaps it's purveying a message to you that you're just raising up in your consciousness, in your divine being. So in a sense, it's like also saying goodbye to your family as you knew them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be there. It's just as you keep advancing forward, you are also creating a different version of them. And, for the powerful ones, and again, it varies from individual to individual, but for some powerful ones that it's meant to be, they blossom and go right up. Then their family awakens like overnight and stays with them. Yeah, that's pretty rare. However, you're going to hear more and more of this. So what because we are also reaching the levels where others also become a reflection of you, so it's important to know this. So let's say Yvonne, and just now you could just be leaving your family behind in consciousness, but that doesn't mean they're going to be left behind uh, in your reality. It can be just a message, a metaphor that is translated in that way. Uh, and however, what you dreamt, the dream about saying goodbye to friends and family, many have had that over the years, yes, to do that. But it's also an act of energetic forgiveness. See, in reality, the consciousness never sleeps. You are always active and at the soul level. So you are always doing things uh, within your reality. But when you sleep in the night, one way to look at it, during when you think you're sleeping, you're writing your script or some of it for the next day. And this is why you get your deja vu experiences sometimes. So just know that you're constantly transitioning. Don't complicate things so much. It's best to just be open to the answers and and without begging and distracting yourself and complicating things, just be open and accept and go with the flow. It's the best way. Thank you. Alicia Young Hall says, she says she's learned coffee is a killer of the pH level. Thank you for that, Alicia. And so with Alicia, that may hold true for her. I drink lots of coffee. I'm not given yet that it does do this to I. But one thing I can say, the acid within the coffee, within your beans, it's best to have a cold brew overnight. And what this does, it takes a lot of the acid out of your coffee, and you will see that it evaporates out. So with your coffee, if you wish to raise the pH level of it so it's not so acidic, one way is through the cold brew. And of course, the ideal way is the elimination of coffee when it comes your time going forward. But for I still drink the coffee. And for Alicia, with her, it's something then, what, by looking at her message, that she must let go of at this time. And there may be more of you that may need to stop the coffee as well. You know what I can share, when I first came into this vessel in around 2010, 11, before I came in, I was drinking lots of coffee, but during the time of getting this vessel back in shape for about 4 months. The coffee was limited to one very weak one, just a day then. But after that, once I had the vessel transitioned to the level that it was okay. Then I could drink pretty well as much coffee as I wish now. So again, on an individual basis, it's what each one takes in. But with Alicia, what she's saying, coffee, a killer of the pH, meaning, coffee is acidic. She is correct to the degrees, and of course, it depends also on your coffee beans or where your coffee's coming from. So that would depend upon the individual. If you want to go through that of testing the pH of your coffee, you can do that, or whatever you feel right with, again, is what I suggest, because you're looking at each one on an individual basis, and sometimes what works for one does not work for all. So thank you, Alicia, for bringing that up. And as we can see, yeah, coffee is one thing to be let go of with these physical vessels here in the future as well, for I, but not yet, but soon, hopefully. Adisa asks, can we eat fish? With eating fish, what I suggest, yes, it's good to eat fish, and to keep it simple, uh, it's best to eat bottom dwelling fish. Stay away from a lot of the pelagics. The pelagics are the fish that swim on the upper layer of the ocean, and the upper layer of the ocean is where radiation is mostly at, and most of the pollution. So if you want a cleaner fish, it's best to go with uh, the deeper fish, deep sea fish, the bottom dwellers. But yeah, fish is okay for most. There are some that don't even eat fish as well, and it's because it's not for them. But for I eat fish, and it is okay. Yeah, for most to eat it. We're doing it. Amy Wang asked, does everyone have a twin flame? That would depend on your definition of a twin flame, on the definition of it. There is one definition that would say everyone has a twin flame, And then is another definition to say that they're very rare. So it depends on what your definition is. And all definitions are correct. So it's what you want and what you feel with it is what's important. I'm just looking here for, I'll soon end this. Just checking the time. Yeah, because I got a show with Mike here in about an hour's time. So soon got to end this up. This is an interesting one. So Heather says she was craving steak after not eating any red meat for 16 years. And she says it was so unexpected, but she's enjoying it so much. Well, that's her, guidance, what she is doing. Very rarely do I see this occur. Um, I believe it was not so long ago that I had someone else that had shared with me that after many years that they had to go back into the meat. They had it a few times and they become violently sick, uh, that they couldn't eat it and they had to come back out of it. But they had to get the experience to have it imprinted into the consciousness that really they couldn't. So we'll see what happens with Heather, and please keep us updated if you wish, if you're able to continue to eat it. So that's great to know because we need to, and always like to get most information out there. But I will say that's a rare one. But with the Ascension, sometimes you see many rare things. But that is, it's not right rare because I heard of it, and again, the ones had to go back into the meat to confirm it to their self that they couldn't eat it. Oh, this gives me the opportunity. Um, when I was first awakened, so with me, first it was meat. I could no longer eat it, and I was told by Father why, because of what was occurring with my body and with the DNA being changed and a lot more. But to keep this simple, and then I had to stop eating poultry, bird and duck, and so it was that occurred in January one year, and come August one year, I always loved eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. When I was just human, I loved that, and so I was driving through Jasper in the Rocky Mountains, Jasper, Alberta, and as I was driving through town in my camper, I could smell Kentucky Fried Chicken come in the window, and I said, "Oh my!" I said, "Father, can I eat some of that?" And so I got to the edge of town. He didn't answer, but I got to the edge of town on my way out of town, going in towards British Columbia, and the sign said, "Oh, a huge sign." It said, "You went by Kentucky Fried Chicken. You passed it." So I said, "Okay, Father." I looked up, saying the sign was from Father. Um, "Is it okay? Can I have chicken now?" And Father said, "Yes." Well, I said, "Good." I whipped Betsy around the camper in the middle of the road, turned, went back to town, and I got, um, I forget what they called it, but a three-piece chicken and fries. And so I parked Betsy. I got a takeout. I parked Betsy and I sit in the front of her and opened up the box to eat the chicken and fries. And just as I began to eat the chicken, Father sends a message. He said, "Now get a campsite for a few days here in Jasper." So I said, "Oh, okay." But I had thought the plan was I had to go to British Columbia to a certain place, but the divine plan changes now and then. So he says, "Yeah, when you're done eating, go there," he said right away to get a space. And to make sure you got a camping place. And he said, stay here in Jasper for a few days. So I always trust. I didn't ask any questions. So I finished eating. As soon as I finished, I went and got a campsite just outside of Jasper there, Jasper in Alberta. And as soon as I got there and got hooked up, Father said, "Stay here." So I listened, and let me say, after a few hours, my stomach began to feel very bad, and I become pretty sick. And Father laughing, and yeah, he said, "Now you cannot eat bird." And I was there for a couple days sick. Could barely move and get out of my bunk, my bed in Betsy. So let me say, that's my experience, and but it became very clear. Yeah, I cannot have, at least at this time, meat or bird within this body. So just sharing. Thank you. Uh, Nieves Perez, any updates about twin rays or twin flames coming in union at this time? One thing I can say, uh, for the one definition of twin flames, that so many are coming together at this time. And it's beautiful and it's important in different levels of love and experiencing it, and um, changing the polarity of the energy through the combined love as well. So yes, there is update. More and more are coming together for this magically time because of the good energy that is, I'll say the energy created, but it's actually the heightened polarity of the energy. So it's a transitional energy. So energy cannot be, as they say, created or destroyed. It's only the change of the energy. So you can create in the past negative energy, or positive energy, to keep it simple. You are actually just creating the charge of energy, not the energy itself. Ah, so I'll just scrolling here quickly. I'm soon going to end this, everyone, and yeah, going to have a cigarette and get ready for the show tonight. I see some more questions, but I'm just looking to see if there's any quick ones I can ask. If we do this again, some of your questions that I might not have answered now, bring them up at another time, please. Um, Bruce says, yeah, Bruce asked when I spoke about the breathing, exhale all the way. Yes, yeah, it's good. Uh, so the preparation for that good deep breathing in the lungs is get all of the out of the lungs, get all of the air that's out there. Usually you only use about 10% of the top portion of your lung. So it's important to, when you do your first exhale, to just keep exhaling, keep pushing. There's a lot more air in there, and what you'll find, you'll surprise yourself at actually how much air that was down in your lungs. This is all stagnant air. The energy has been expired, so you want to clean that out fully. So, yes, just keep exhaling completely with that first one. However, once you do the preparation, exhaling, then your next time just take a good deep breath in and out when you do your 3 consecutive breaths later. That's what I suggest. Thanks. Wayne Millette just asked about the strange monoliths. Let me say any information. Let me just say that they are interesting, and Wayne, I didn't ask too much about them, but I will say they are significant. That's why, ones are becoming aware of them popping up. So it is doing something, um, and we will know what it is in the near future, but I don't really have any more information right here consciously that I wish to share about that right now. Excellent. Thank you. Maureen asked, what else do we need to do in preparation for the 21-12-20 and the solar flare event? Everyone, it's really nothing that you need to do unless you feel there's something uh, that you may need to do, then you follow that. Hello, we may have a dog maybe out after the soup. We have a friend? No. No. Getting back to what I was saying, where was I at? So with the preparation now, with this solar flare event, what I wish to say that it's very possible, and I'm not given a full confirmation that it will be a, let's say, a very significant solar event, although it very well may be. However, also there could be a, it doesn't have to be right on that date, meaning it could be prior to that. And if you look, we did have a considerable size flare, M4.4, but I believe it was probably an X-ray that did occur to do some things. I don't know fully, Maureen, what all the light community is putting out about the 21st in the solar flare event, but what I give is that yes, it's quite possible a solar flash at that time. And so, having said that, we keep seeing uh, what will occur, keep watching leading up to it, and let's see what happens. But one thing I can tell you is that humanity at that time was going to be ready, and Uluru was such an important energetic place with this for that time, and many are going there as well. So let's see what occurs with it, with the solar flare in that event. But I can say the event part of it, most of it has already happened, and it can just be greater yet without going too much into that now. What's today, 6? We'll be having more information on this, Maureen, as we get closer. So, what's occurring right now is all the little solar flares like daily or C and B and C class flares. These keep administering the activations, and this will be ongoing for a few weeks, but we could also have significant flares occur with that, subsequent flares as well after, the X-ray one we had the other day. So we'll see what occurs. Okay, well, time for a cigarette, I believe. So thank you all, love and light, and many winks, many kisses, and we know we got it, and we're just acting it out, getting through it. So it's great. So thank you, love and light, and peace, and we'll see you soon. And any of your questions I didn't answer, just save them for another time, please. Thank you. Love and happiness. And thank you, Fem. She keeps reminding me. Yeah, be happy. I tend to be serious and keep on the work, but it's so important to be seriously happy as well. So see you later. Bye. Thank you.